All right, welcome back to part 14 of the Bugatti Bolide design here. And then on the last tutorial, we've been working on the front here. And of course, we have some other surfaces here that we will have to create the middle splitter section. So we can actually create that right now. So let's click on this face here and make a sketch. And let's flip it this way. Right? And then let's click off from that surface since we're already inside the sketch. Let's convert some of the entities here. Let's convert this entity and then this entity just so that we can see how far that line goes from the front. All right, so let's jump on the top now and let's go from this way. Press space bar and we can bring up this visual cube here. So now we can see that this is basically the line where that should end, but we're gonna bring it all the way back here. Why not, right? Okay, so let's sketch a line, and then we're going to bring that line all the way from this point, not exactly from the edge, and then let's bring it all the way back here. Press escape. Okay, and then we're going to cut these lines here. Maybe we didn't have to, but just for visual, so we can see how far we're going back with that one. Okay, and exit this this trim tool, and then we're going to go to surfaces, extrude surface. Let's flip that to the other way, and we're going to jump into the side view here, and I'm going to pull that all the way up to about here, and press OK. All right. So let's make a sketch on this face here. Sketch on this face, normal to profile. And then now we're going to convert, not that one, so Control Z to get rid of those lines. And then convert this edge and this edge here, so we can see how that line really goes. And then we're gonna grab a line and click on this point, and then we're gonna be perpendicular with this line here. So one here, exit the sketch, and one here, and we're going to be perpendicular with this one and to this point here, exit the sketch. Okay, so let's go to surfaces, trim surface, and we're going to trim this top section. And then, of course, we need to actually go back here, make a sketch on that. And then we want to convert this edge as well, not the whole face. So Control Z to get rid of that. So let's convert this edge here. Press OK. Just jump into view here and make sure that line is going a little past that one line here, perpendicular. And then let's go to surfaces, trim surface, and we're going to trim this section out. All right, so that completes the middle section of that splitter. And let's move on now to continue creating these side surfaces here. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is I want to jump right into a 3D sketch, 3D spline, and I want to bring that spline from this point to this edge. All right, and press spacebar and jump to the top, and we're gonna go from this side here, jump to the top, and I want to make this line perpendicular with this line here, and I want to give this line a profile as well. Not so much, something like that should be sufficient. If not, then we can always come back. So exit this one, and then we're going to exit that 3D sketch, and we're going to jump back into another 3D spline sketch, 3D sketch with the 3D spline, and we're going to go from this corner all the way to this point here. Exit the sketch, and at this point I want to knit these two surfaces together here so that it won't cause any trouble for us. And I want to get back into this spline here, so click on the spline and edit the sketch. Right. I want to also jump into the first display state and get from the side view here. And if you look at the picture here, we can see that the line we are working on, it's going from here all the way here. So we can see that it has a upward motion from the side view. It has an upward motion from the side view, which we will create, and it has a motion that's going from the side in, right? So let's create that upward motion from the side. Okay, and I want to be tangent with this line here, so click this line and hold Control and this line, and I want to be tangent here. And maybe we can pull this back here. Just pull this down now a little bit over here. Okay, so we do have the upward motion from the side, and now we have to create the motion from the side in, right? And that's already being created, sort of, right? So maybe we just need to add a little bit from this side. And we want to pay attention on this corner as well. Okay, so that looks good. Exit the sketch. And let's jump into our second display state. Okay, and then I want to add a driving curvature here, and I want to add a separate 3D sketch, 3D spline from this point to that point, and jump to the side, and let's go from the side view here, and we look pretty straight. And now we're just going to add a front view here, and then we're going to add a nice driving curvature on this. I want to add a fix on this handhold so that we will curve seamlessly over. So I want to fix that along the y-axis, and then maybe just pull this a little bit off so that curvature will be nice, and then exit this sketch. All right, so that's going to be our driving curvature. Okay, so Next sketch I want to add is a 3D spline, and I want to go from this point to this point here, exit the sketch. Okay, exit the sketch. And let's see if we can create this surface without adding another 3D spline on that one. So let's go to surfaces and fill surface, and let's select these sketches here, this edge and this sketch here. So let's created that surface there. Alright, so that cut looks pretty good there. There's going to be a second cut as well for the inlet, for the air inlet. And then we are looking good on this corner here as well, because we added that fix along y-axis over here. Alright, so that surface is good. The next surface we want to create is going to be, of course, this surface here. Let's go to knit surface, and let's knit these two surfaces together. We already knitted these two together. So let's just knit those together so it won't cause us any trouble. And then let's bring in our edges, shaded with edges, so we can see where we are, right? So we have this edge here, this small corner edge, which comes out from this surface here, okay? And we want to be on this other edge, and then we will follow on onto that edge. Okay, so I want to bring back that line that we had here previously. So let's jump down here and bring that line back. And that line was, this was this line here, 3D sketch 79. Show the line. If we take off that 3D sketch, I want this line to show, right? For some reason it's not showing. Show that, show that, show the line. Let's jump back into our first display state here. Oh, okay, so that was the problem. Alright, we click this here, which we shouldn't. So let's jump back to the second display state, and now we can see the line that we were trying to bring back. So let's hide back these lines that we don't need. Alright, and then we're gonna have to create a 3D sketch. A 3D sketch from this point, and we're gonna stay on this edge. I want to go all the way to that point here, and then here I want to make sure that we start getting onto this edge here. It should be about here. All right. Alright, so I want to make sure that I stay on that edge. And grab on that point. Okay, so let's see if we can create the surface. We should be able to. And let's go to surfaces, fill surface, and let's select this line and this three sketches we just created. And let's select this face. And we want to add tangency on that edge here. So I want to add tangency here so we won't have any break in the surface. So tangency. Alright, so that looks beautiful. There's no break in the surface whatsoever. Alright, so at this point, let's not. I'm not going to save it yet. I'm not going to save it yet. We have a nice surfaces there. I'm going to hide this sketch for now. Right, so let's see if we need this 3D spline here. We probably don't because we want to add tangency with that edge. Okay, so what I want to do now is let's have a look at the picture here. So we created this surface up here, and now we want to curve under and come down, right, to this area here. So to do that, we're gonna have to create from this point, maybe from this point, because we have the surface that goes. So this is the line. So we went from this line all the way up to this point, right? So we can use this point to curve underneath the car and come down, right? And then we will create a lower sketch here, connecting with that surface that we have. Okay, so let's come in here. And we're going to use this point here to go underneath the car and create that curve. Right, so let's do that by jumping into another 3D sketch, which is going to be a 3D spline. And we want to go from this point here, and then I'm going to go inwards, right, towards the center of the car. So let's come out of the y-axis because X and Z works for us. So press tab on your keyboard to be in that. Or better yet, we can use Z and X to be on the lower end. And let's just bring it to about here. Exit the sketch, right? And then we're gonna come to the back view here, and we're just gonna pull it down to about here. Okay, and we're going to determine how far that curvature will come in. So it will come curve into about there, about that much, not all the way to the center, obviously. And then we're just going to add some spline control splines. So let's add one here. And let's add another one here. Let's add one here. And let's add one here. Press escape. And then now we want to add our control polygons onto this line here. So let's add our display control polygons. And these are these little points here. Okay. So once that's showing, that's good. So I want to be tangent with this one. So I'm going to click on this face, hold Control and click on the line and press tangency. Okay. So now that created our tangent starting point from there, which is this line here. And now we're just gonna have to bring up this control point and then bring this down and make it straight, somewhat straight. Maybe bulge out a little bit this way. Okay, so it's nicely curving under the body, right? In that direction. Let me just bring this a little bit up, something like that. Okay, so let's work with this spline here, and let's check from the side if we are straight here. So let's just make sure that we are straight. Pull the control point in there, and let's come back to the back view to make sure that we haven't touched anything that we shouldn't. So we are still good. I want to add a little bit of bulginess only here, just to have a little bit of profile. Okay, so that's good. And then, of course, it will curve into there. All right. And exit the sketch. Okay, and what I want to do as well is I want to jump back into a 3D and brand new 3D sketch with a 3D spline. I want to come from this point to this point here. Exit the sketch, and if you have a look at the picture here, we can see it's almost straight from this point. It kind of is straight here, but then it's straight and it curves, starting to curve somewhere about here. So let's fix up this line here. So I want to be tangent with this surface. So let's try and click on that and click on this line and press tangency. So that creates a tangency on that one. And then I'll click on the top face. And then let's make this line. It's okay. Let's click back on this line. And then this will come up and then kind of straightens out somewhere about here. Okay, so that's about the curve, all the curve that we need on this area here. Okay, exit the sketch. And if you have a look at the picture here again, we can see that we have the profile starting from here, from this, as we talked about, from this line here, we have a profile which is tangent. It should curve under the car here, but from this point, it's just curves down in a simple direction, right? So you want to make sure that we sort of have that, but let's just hope, okay, that we will be able to create this surface here. So let's go to surfaces and then do a fill surface, and then let's select these edges and this edge here, and let's check if we are tangent with this line here. So we want to have a fluid seamless transition here. So let's go back on the surface here, edit the surface, and let's find that edge, which is the S1 boundary, and add a tangency on that surface. And it will create something here which I was afraid of. So if we go to constraint curves and then we click this edge here, obviously it will not work. Okay, so what we should try, and then we can try here, and the best idea is probably to knit these two surfaces together. However, we will delete this. I just want to check if we can add a fillet on this corner here. So I'm going to go to fillet here, and I'm going to try first normal fillet on this edge here, and that's not going to create it. So let's go to face fillet. Let's select this face and then click on this tab and then select this face. And I want to turn these arrow inside. Okay, and then let's try 5 here. Maybe we try 7. And let's have a look at the surface. Okay, so it creates some things here that we are not happy about. Okay, so let's go back in the feature tree and let's delete that fillet. Okay. All right, so let's delete this face here. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut some of these curvature off starting about here. So let's have a look at the picture. So it's basically cuts off somewhere about here. So it probably will help us to create that surface. So let's make that 3D sketch from probably about here and down onto this line. Okay. It's coming to this line here. And as I said before, I want to start cutting off that curvature somewhere up here, but I want to be tangent in the same time as well. So I'm going to click that face, hold Control and click this line and add tangency. And now we go back here to the back view. I'm going to pull this line in, something like that. That's the point here. Exit the sketch. And let's have a look if we can create that surface now. So let's go to surfaces and try boundary surface. Delete this clear selections. So let's select this one here and this one. And for direction 2, let's select this edge here. Let's bring this up to this point. And also direction 2, this down here. Well, let's go back and edit the sketch and add our tangency on this edge here. So tangency to face. Okay, so now we are almost seamless with that curvature coming down on that corner. But I think we created something here, so that's probably not going to work. So delete that. Okay, so let's delete this one as well. Okay, and let's go to surfaces and then fill surface, and let's come in here and then add this surface here anyways. And let's add our tangency on this edge. Tangency. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to create this surface and then cut back somewhere where it shows us we can. because that's the most seamless we can go at the moment, right? So I would say that maybe somewhere here, if we cut this back um, and create a wonder surface with this edge here, right? Let's edit the sketch. Let's edit that surface, and let's take off that tangency. Just too simple, just contact. Let's go back for a second, and then add tangency on that one. See what we got. So we added tangency on this one here. Okay, so we're going to leave this part here at this point, and then I'm just going to mirror over to the other side uh, for a second, just so we can see how it looks. And in the next tutorial, we take the off-depth mirror. So front plane and bodies to mirror is going to be this with this, and then these two faces. All clear selections. Of course, we want to choose bodies to mirror. Select these bodies. That's it. All right. So yeah. So the next tutorial, when we get to the next tutorial, we're going to just fix up this area here to have a seamless transition with this curvature here, and then we're going to continue with let's have a look here. We're going to continue with creating these ribs here and the rest of the side, and of course the lower side splitter, and yes, this small I think it's the it's the rear, it's the wing mirror, because it has a camera inside, and the inside the car is actually some screens that shows the rear view cameras, which is this one here, and the ribs, of course. All right, and the cots as well. All right, thanks very much for staying me in this tutorial, and then I'll see you back in the next tutorial. Bye.